Hello there, everybody. It is Brian Rundle and the great Lana Quest, and this is Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. Lana, how are you? You're just settling in.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, everyone. I look like I'm about to go to bed. Like literally look like girl's got on her pajamas and she's about to hit the sack. Whoa! It's all
She
good
told
now.
me before, she goes, "Oh, look awful." I was like, "You never look awful. You're not allowed to say that."
Yeah, he has to say that I do not, but I know.
Oh, I don't have to say anything. Yeah, we're not getting paid by anybody, Lana.
It's all good. Like I told you, Brian, we have
Yes.
that new gym in our building. It's a game changer. So at least I don't have to do that when I get home. It's done already, like over and out.
What do you mean? Wait, say that. What are you talking about?
My building at work.
Yeah.
There's a gym in the building.
Oh, the gym.
Yeah, so it's $50 a month for people who work in the building, and it's like all state of the art. Like running on that treadmill is like running on cotton. Like it's so cool. Like like maybe I'm out of touch because Crunch and Planet Fitness, they don't have like the Peloton stuff. So like you have the big screen, you can watch Netflix like right there. All the apps are on the screen. Like it's just, you can do your training and talk to someone like it's just really.
That's very convenient having it right there at work.
It's very convenient. So now, like I said, yesterday I worked out like after work, which put me at like 4:00 when I finished. And I'm like, the shuttle buses, the traffic. So I worked out at 2:00, left at my normal time, 3:30, and was able to get here decent hour.
But that's pretty damn strong. I like the sounds of that. I'd like to see what that gym looks like too, because it must be a big building.
Yeah, it's a big building.
Like a big corporate kind of building.
Exactly. It's called Kinema, Kinema. So I guess those gyms are in certain buildings downtown.
That's in the city?
In the city, downtown Boston. Yeah, so that's why. And it really is like new showers, blow dryers, hair diffusers, shampoo, conditioner, towels everywhere, clean. Like it's just really
a gym and a spa, basically.
Yeah, like the classes are free. And if you don't want to take a class with people, because some people are not accustomed to like yoga, whatever, they have rooms that you can book a time slot and do it in there alone. So like it has a big screen and then you can do your workouts in there without anyone looking at you. So
that is pretty awesome. Well, I love the sounds of that. And it sounds I also love that you're still doing your workout. What's that?
Yeah, absolutely doing my workout. Like at this age, you have to do gotta do that. How are you? I'm always talking about myself because I'm always running around. So how are you?
No, we always ask about Lana. We always want to know how she's doing. I am well. I'm doing as well as I can. In the market that we're in, it's
all right,
wacky, and especially here in this state, it's not fun. But I mean, there's stuff going on.
Is it impacting? Is the economy where it is impacted? Like, are people jittery about buying homes?
Yes.
Right,
so it's not as steady as it normally is. So I talk to a good amount of clients and I get what's the first step, which is a pre-approval. So I've got enough pre-approvals out there. It's just a matter of them finding a house and then a payment that makes sense. The insurance costs in the state of Florida are through the roof. Interest rates are still a little bit higher than we want them to be. And if you look at all the polls, a lot of the polls are saying that consumer confidence is not the highest right now. So when consumer confidence is not high, then people are a little bit leery about pulling the trigger on buying a home. So, here's the deal. And people think it's just that I'm being biased. If Kamala Harris had won, then we would have been on a trajectory for the interest rates to naturally go back down to where it would have been feasible for people to say, yes, I'm going to buy a home. It would have really flooded the market. But right now, the state of Florida has a ton. I think I heard it's the most amount of homes they've had for sale in this state. And I can't remember for how long it's been, but it's been a very, very long time. And usually when there's a lot of inventory, it's good for the real estate market. But when there's a lot of inventory, again, you go back to supply and demand. When there's a lot of supply, but not a lot of demand, that's not good for the overall economy. And we have a lot of supply. And a part of that has got to be, I mean, obviously you have people that are either looking to upgrade their home, maybe even downgrade their home.
Right.
A lot of that also too is people are a little scared about the future, maybe cashing in on their equity or moving out of the state of Florida because it's becoming.
I heard that. Yeah, and I did hear that they were having people were moving out of Florida.
You also got to remember too, you know what is a big destiny for people to come down and live in the state of Florida for parts of the year? People from Canada. And people from Canada are saying,
right. Yep.
I no longer want my house in that fucked up country. Right. And so they're selling their houses too. So
Maine is having an issue with that too, because they're saying that their tourism is being depleted because they're not coming over to Maine.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
But not sorry. We're not going to. And Maine is beautiful, and it's unfortunate, right? Yeah. Because the fuck.
You just got to make it. I mean, the bottom line of this too is not because I am looking for ways to bash Donald Trump. Donald Trump finds ways for people to bash him no matter what. So, right. But these are just facts. It is a fact that the state of Florida right now and the housing market in the state of Florida is a disaster. And I'm not saying it was even great under the last administration. What I am saying, though, is that we were still feeling the effects of COVID, and the main part of the economy that was still a little bit wonky and a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Not selfish, but it was a little annoying, was the inflation. They were trying to get down to 2%. We got it under 3%. We got it into the mid 2s. And the interest rates were the only thing really that was not making Joe Biden's economy handing over to Donald Trump pretty much as well as you can hand over an economy to anybody. So, you know, it's frustrating because if Kamala Harris won, we're still doing the same policies. She's putting in programs that would help first-time home buyers. And there's absolutely nothing Donald Trump is doing for anybody.
Where are those at? Where are those programs for first-time home buyers?
First-time home buyers, they don't have programs for second, third, fourth, or fifth-time home buyers.
This motherfucker did. I know you're going to get into the show, but like, I was watching the local news, and then the caption, something like price gouging. And I'm like, and I saw him signing. I'm like, the fuck out of here. He's doing like, you know, fighting price gouging at the grocery store. I'm like, okay, I'm about to have to give him praise, right? So I rewound it. Tickets, entertainment, like who the fuck cares about entertainment ticket price gouging when you can't buy groceries? Like that, I was just like, figures, like fucking figures.
You know what else is funny, Lana? The one policy that Joe Biden had put in place was to cap overdraft fees at $5. And do you notice that the banks probably got to Donald Trump and said, hey, we're about to have tons of overdraft fees, so we need to get rid of this $5 overdraft fee shit. And that's exactly one of the, like, if you're actually for the American people, what about that? What I want any Trump supporter or anybody that defends Donald Trump in this economy, why anybody would say that that is a good idea for the American people. They're about to get blasted with overdraft fees.
Right. And they don't even know. Like, that's the thing. It's funny. I read an old tweet of mine, and it was talking about how they were getting rid of all these junk fees and things like that. It's like the consumers don't even they don't even know when they have a good thing.
Right.
Just fucking stupid. Just stupid.
You don't know what you got until it's gone. I mean, that's about as good as it gets. And some people still have not figured that out. But I think, Lana, maybe there is a ray of hope. And that's where we are going to start our show tonight. By the way, if you are joining us tonight, thank you so much. We always appreciate anybody joining us, whether it is on Twitter, whether it is on YouTube, whether it is on Instagram, wherever you are following us. We definitely appreciate that. Please like and subscribe to the show if you do not mind. Lana would enjoy that, and I know I would as well. So let's get started with the show, Lana.
Let's go.
Okay. Yesterday, very big news out of Wisconsin. We had 3 very big elections yesterday, 2 in the state of Florida, 1 in the state of Wisconsin. So let's go over the Florida one real quick. That's where I live. I knew there was a lot of buzz here in this state. And like all elections, you always have hope. You always have hope you're going to pull this out. And somehow the people wake up and say this is a referendum on the Trump administration, on Doge, on Elon Musk, who are cutting these jobs, who are destroying the economy, destroying the older people's retirement funds here in the state of Florida. You hope that maybe they would have woken up. Did they wake up? 100%? No. But there were positive signs in the state of Florida. You had one district, and that was District 6, in which Donald Trump won just a few months ago by 30 points. That was cut in half to 14 points. That is a big, big deal in just a short period of time. Same thing in District 1, which was Matt Gaetz's district. Donald Trump won that big as well, and that was cut down to 14 points. So if you want to take anything positive out of it, that's what I would take positive. And maybe the American people are waking up sooner than we thought.
Right. I agree. Because I also think, like you said, in that short bit of time, they cut it in half. So had they had a longer amount of time, it would have been a tight race, because I feel like they don't like what they see. But a lot of them are still saying, we're going to give him more time. We're going to let, you know what I mean? Because they are. That's because you hear them. Some of them say, like, I don't like what I see, but let's see how this works out. Let's give him, it hasn't been 100 days. Let's see. So I think like he's really in that window with a lot of people too, that would have made it closer, I think. But that did, one of the red districts did turn, you would know, counties turn blue, right? They said that.
Well, not a district. I think maybe one of the cities did. In one of those areas. But you had District 1 and you had District 6. Both of them stayed red. Both of them elected the Republican candidate back to the House, which means that the Republicans are going to lead. And by, I believe it's going to be a total of 3 House seats, which again, really is not a whole bunch. And this sets us up for the real big news, because the big news was the election in Wisconsin for the Supreme Court of the Supreme Court of Wisconsin. And right now, Democrats held a 4-3 advantage in that Supreme Court. And had they lost, it would have flipped to 4-3 Republicans. And I even had somebody ask me, why is that so important? Why do people care about the Supreme Court in the state of Wisconsin? And really one of the main reasons is, other than just all the crazy right-wing things that they want to pass in that particular state, maybe like abortion or anything like that. But one big deal in this is that the redrawing of districts under Republican rule could have happened, which could make a big difference in the outcome of 2026 in the House races. And now the Democrats hold on to that. They're not going to be able to rewrite these districts. And quite frankly, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the Democrats will be able to write some of these districts and draw up some of these districts the way where it benefits them, which, you know what, I'm all for.
It's kind of crazy, right? Because we're talking about the state Senate, because she's a judge, right? Like we talk about, she's supposed to be nonpartisan. So like this is just not even, she's going by the law. Like, so if the districts are not supposed to be drawn and they're infringing on someone's rights, she's not going to allow it. If they're okay, she will, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not even a partisan job that she got elected to do. And she kept saying that, like, this is not partisan. I'm a judge. Like, we don't operate like that. It's just so weird. But Republicans do. They bring it in. They bring the partisanship into everything.
We used to have judges that were Republican that understood the law, and they would rule based on what the law is, not based on what their party or political affiliation is now. But now this whole Trump administration is looking for far right radical judges that will go along with whatever it is that daddy says. And, you know, we have those right now in the Clarence Thomases, the Alitos, the Kavanaughs, and the Gorsuch judges. They seem to be going along with whatever it is that Trump wants. But first of all, we shouldn't mention her name, Susan Crawford. She was the victor, and she was running up against a Donald Trump sort of judge. However, her main opponent was the richest man in the world, Elon Musk. And the victory is even more significant because Elon Musk not only poured a lot of money into this race, like he did the national race, but he was also giving away $1 million prizes again and doing all this stuff. And not only did she win, but she won big. And this is her in her victory speech addressing her victory and Elon Musk.
Someone who watches out for people. But I've got to tell you, as a little girl growing up in Chippewa Falls, I never could have imagined that I'd be taking on the richest man in the world. For justice in Wisconsin. And we won.
You absolutely did win, and congratulations, Susan. What a great victory to pull off. And it also gives the country that is not down with this insanity that we are living in, it gives us hope, and it gives us hope early. And if they continue to do the right things, continue to try to find ways to combat all the lies and innuendo that is said about them, there is a chance that maybe we could turn this ship around. That's not going to be until about 1 year and 6 months from now, but or 7 months from now. But, you know, shit, we're already in April, Lana. The year is moving quickly and time's moving quickly. So we'll see.
I know. It's going to be midterms before we know it.
Yeah.
Well, even before that, we get to primary Eric Adams. So,
yeah, let's go after that clown who is, I guess, all charges dropped against him. It's when you have friends in high places, I guess, that's
yeah,
that'll help you out. So, and a lot of Americans don't have these friends in high places. That's why, again, I don't know why people are not way more offended by what the hell is going on in this country. But congratulations to Susan Crawford. Big victory, not just for Democrats, but I'm looking at all these victories as victories for the American people overall. Even if you're not rooting for Susan Crawford, at some point you'll never realize why it's going to be beneficial for you, but you're going to be able to ride the wave too. And you just don't know it. That's really the difference.
Absolutely.
You know,
totally agree. Congratulations, sis. Good job.
Congratulations.
Follow me.
Meanwhile, go ahead. What?
I said follow me. Come on, Susan.
Follow Lana. Follow Lana. Yeah. Oh, don't do that because that'll piss me off. Because every fucking time I see a little message from Lana on Twitter, I'm like, uh-oh, it's probably another famous person following her. And she's getting Cory Booker. She's getting.
I don't have Cory Booker.
Oh, all right. Jasmine Crockett, though, which I am incredibly jealous about.
James Harrison.
Yeah, right.
And
Jamie Harrison, yes. And we will be talking about Jasmine Crockett and Cory Booker a little later on in the show.
Okay.
But Lana, We talk about how ridiculous this administration is. This is what we'll be talking about for a very long time. But we have a president now who is throwing out there that he is looking to possibly run for a third term. And he is throwing this out there. I am not really sure if he's serious about it. I, quite frankly, am not even sure if he'll be around for a third term, considering his age and the you could see the declining mental acuity of this guy day in and day out. So whether or not he is still breathing at that time, or if he is so mentally incapacitated, I'm not really sure if it's something to worry about. But Lana, this is him doing his thing again. And part of me believes a lot of what Donald Trump does is throw things out there, distract while they do all the bad stuff behind your back.
Oh, I thought we were going to a clip.
Oh, we are.
I agree, but I think he's serious. I don't know. Like, I think he's serious. Everything he has said, he's just been doing. So, like, just one thing is less than the other. He may be throwing that out there to do whatever he's doing behind our backs, but he's also serious, because if he could, he would.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably like casting out the line with some bait on it and see if any fish bite on it and reel it right in.
Right. Why would he keep saying it? He told his voters, you may never have to vote for me again, meaning he was just never trying to leave. So
yeah. Well, here he is on one of his flights here, and the press is on the flight that he is on, and they asked him specifically about this, and this is what he had to say.
We're not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is in a way a fourth term, because the other election, the 2020 election, was totally rigged. So it's sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second, because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. I said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that. But I've had a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you think that's an appropriate precedent to set, even if it wasn't you in this position, to see a president serve a third term?
I don't want to talk about a third term now, because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. You know, we have almost 4 years to go. And that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we're doing. Most importantly, they love the job we're doing.
So you said you were on.
Okay, so that's more of his rhetoric, where everybody loves what he's doing. His face was very extra orange there.
Yeah, everyone is running up to me and saying, Sir, can you please run again?
And I'm sure there are people that surround Donald Trump that say that ridiculous stuff because they know he's stupid enough to go out and say, will you run for a third term, please, so he could go out and tell the American public that he's thinking about doing that.
I don't even know. Like, somewhere in the back of my head, I just feel like Republicans are like, just go away. Like, I just feel like no one is telling him that. Like, no one is telling him. They are slaves. No one is telling him that because they secretly want him to fucking keel over so they can't go on with business and do, because there's a way to do all this evil shit and not wreck the economy, right? Like, that, you know, if you just want to be an evil motherfucker, you can literally fucking just deport people randomly, but stop fucking firing people in the federal government and not do tariffs. You know what I mean? And then like your fucking base and everybody would just fucking love you. Like, they would take the loss of the immigrants. Like, but he's so just evil for no reason. Just everything, just none of it makes sense. It's just like, I just want to control. It's almost like hitting someone until they just have no more control and they just beg you to stop, and then you have them. When they beg you to stop is when you have them at their ultimate weakness. And I feel like that's what he's doing to America, just trying to keep hitting and doing all of those body blows until we're just weak. And then that's when the oligarchy rises. Like that's when they have us, is when we're just so fucked up.
He's got America basically in a torture chamber is what it is.
Right.
And it's just
exactly.
Yep. And it's just the, the beating into it until you decide that, or you realize that this is just life. And again, I've told people that before, that the plan is just to continue to lull this country to sleep. And you really literally have people who are out there just defending Donald Trump and saying, yeah, we can pay higher prices for a little while longer, even though they voted because they wanted lower prices. This is just so stupid.
Like we could do that to what end? Like, what's the cutoff? Is it like June 30th? We pay them until, is it like 2020? Like, what's the cutoff? What does that mean? Like, it's just going to be a little pain. Like, for whom? Not you and Elon.
Yeah, what they don't realize is there's never going to be a cutoff with these people. Right. They just want to continue to take advantage over and over and over again. And the fact that they are, I mean, I know this without knowing it. They are laughing their asses off at the American people. They are laughing so hard at the people who are literally defending everything that they're doing. They are laughing at the fact that people are defending Elon Musk, firing people and getting rid of programs that benefit them. It's the psychology and the study on this is going to be epic. And I hope I'm around to see it when they do all the studies on the mentality and the psychology behind all this, because it hurts my intellectual brain.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. When they're at their parties at Mar-a-Lago, how they're like laughing at the stupid MAGA, and now they're like, oh, we just picked their pockets. They don't even know it. He's like, shit, we got to get education out of all of the schools. Like, they are cracking up. Now, they say all the time, he knew which party that he could do this to. He knew exactly the type of people that he needed to reach, right? Not saying that Trump is not a racist, but he plays the racist card, right? So, like, had he thought that the Democrats were the party that he could manipulate, he wouldn't be doing all of the racist things, right? Like, although he is a racist, but he would have kept that under wraps, like he's done all his life. Well, not all, is like, that's a lie, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just out there now. He doesn't care. But the people that he needed to manipulate, they just happen to be friggin' Nazis and the Proud Boys and the Klan and the underbellies of society. So that's what he had to do. He has to cater to those people to get them wrapped around his finger, and he did.
So Ronald Reagan set this up on the tee for him, and this whole that whole setup started under Ronald Reagan. Was the pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of attitude, try to get to the angry white male who feels like they're being ignored by the system and how they're being pushed aside by people of color, people of different countries, people of different sexual orientations, and they're left out in the cold now, which really never was true, because Democratic policies benefit all people. They don't benefit just those that are different than you. When they're asked about it, and maybe they say on camera or on interviews, yes, we do care about people who do not look like you. Yes, we are defending the rights of people who are having a hard time finding those rights. And what the right-wing propaganda media did was turn that into all they care about is trans boys playing in girls sports and open borders. Joe Biden wants everybody to come in and just have their way with your wife and unalive people left and right. And it's worked, and it's unfortunate, but because of that, you have millions of people voting against their own interests, and that takes us back to those same people laughing their ass off at them. But Donald Trump alluded to earlier about how people just love what he's doing. This is him talking about his first 100 days in office.
Popular because we've done a great job. I think we've had the best almost 100 days of any president, and most people are saying that. And it's an honor. We're bringing back our country. We're respected as a country again, and we're strongly respected. And people are amazed. I was with some very important people today, and they said that they've never seen a turnaround of the country as fast as this. Even look at our border. We have.
Do you notice every time it's with some very important people today, and he never names who they are, or he'll say something on a follow-up, I probably shouldn't say who they are, or just something so ridiculous. At some point, as a grown adult, do you not look yourself in the mirror and go, this guy is like thinking I'm an idiot?
Yeah, two different questions. He answered them the exact same way. Like the clips were almost identical. They're telling us, you know, they really like what we're doing. You know, they're saying they're selling. Like, what the fuck? No, they're not. Who is they?
Yeah.
They who? Who's telling you that? Oh my God! Like,
Lonnie, he's been doing this consistently for decades, and the fact that people, as I keep saying, grown adults with a functional brain still have not figured out that this guy is so full of shit, but they just want to, even if they know he's full of shit, they just want to root for him and defend him every step of the way. And man, it is bizarre beyond measure. I will never understand it. And it is really the downfall of this country. And hopefully, again, as some of the good news that we've seen, maybe people are waking up. There's a huge rally this weekend supposed to be taking place across the country, and we're going to see how that goes. But on the same line here, Lana, we have this Caroline Leavitt, who is the mouthpiece of Donald Trump. She's asked about the third term thing, and you'll never guess who she blamed when she was asked about this.
Was the president used to potentially run for a third term, as he said, there are methods there?
Look, you guys continue to ask the president this question about a third term, and then he answers honestly and candidly with a smile, and then everybody here melts down about his answer. The president was talked about this last night on the plane. He said, it's not really something we're thinking about. He has 4 years. There's a lot of work to do. We've done a lot in these nearly first 100 days, and the American people love what this president is doing, particularly when it comes to efforts to secure the border.
Yep. Blame the media, blame the media, blame the media. And that's what they're going to do every single time. And it is boring. It is old, but it is effective with very low educated and low propensity voters.
she is working for that money.
Oh, yeah.
She is really a good liar.
Oh, yeah. And does not care. And you know what? She's the same one that wears the Jesus cross around her neck all the time.
Right. She just will say gaslight America and then get pissed off at you if you second guess her lie.
Yeah, right. And then she won't call on you anymore. Then you are under threat of not being allowed in that room anymore. You know, again, then these are the free speech advocates. Donald Trump, Caroline Leavitt is so angry that free speech was gone during the Biden administration, but it's back and in full force again. But they're the ones who are banning people from the press room because they won't call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. This is insanity. And when you're asked a question that is 100% legitimate, and you are going to fire back like you're angry about the question.
About the question. It's a nerve of you to ask me that, journalist.
Yeah. I mean, how dare you? I mean, do you understand who it is that you're talking to? There's a new sheriff in town, and that sheriff basically says, We make the rules, we make the laws now. You're going to abide by them. And if you don't, I am just giving you your warnings right now that if it's not going to happen today, it's going to happen at some point. So you better watch your fucking step, or else it's coming down hard on you. And that's what this administration is all about. That is scary. That is un-American. It is unconstitutional. And if we continue down this road, Lana, we're done as a country. And I don't, I again, as what happened over the last few days and the elections, you're hoping that there are glimmers of hope. There are glimmers of hope of people who say, even if you are a Republican, that, yeah, this doesn't sound right. And, and see if we can overcome this, because if not, it's going to be a long rest of our lives.
It'll be a long 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. But do you know what today is, Lana?
Liberation Day?
That is correct. It's Liberation Day. We are finally free of the shackles of low prices and low everything. We now get taxed more based on the higher prices that we are going to see in grocery stores and in shopping malls or wherever it is that you buy your goods. It is Liberation Day, so congratulations, Lana. As a fellow American, we get to pay more money and we get to pay more taxes. And from my understanding, if I am following anybody in MAGA land, this is patriotic. So happy Liberation Day to you.
I love that for us. I wanted to get a car in years, so I mean, $10,000 more for a car. Hey, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And really, it's under the guise too, or not the guise. Let's just, yeah, it is. It's under the guise of national emergency that less than 1% of fentanyl coming across the border from Canada to the United States is the reason why we have to implement these tariffs on one of our best friends and trading partners in Canada. So congratulations, America. You voted for a guy who stopped the less than 1% of fentanyl coming through the border so you can pay higher prices. You were probably better off taking your money and sending whoever it is that you have an issue with fentanyl in your life to rehab. But nope, you're going to wind up paying way more money for a long, long time because you believed the guy who was going to lower prices is now in office, who is making your groceries and everything else more expensive. Congratulations, idiots.
Isn't the Senate doing something about that, trying to do some type of bipartisan legislature?
Yes.
Take
yes,
that.
They're trying to get 4 Republicans, even though from my understanding that really what it is, it's kind of more of a show thing. But, you know, again, if you get any news out there where you're trying to stop higher prices, then that's a good thing. From my understanding that even if somehow they got 4 senators from the Republican side, like Elisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, Mitch McConnell, I think, was one, and there's one more that they had cited. Rand Paul, that who's not a fan of these tariffs at all. That if you could get these guys to go along with it, that it would be sent back to the House, and the House would not go through with it. But again, it is more of messaging, and sometimes the messaging can work. So the Democrats are powerless at this point. So anything that they can do to get any kind of messaging out saying, see, we're trying, and they're saying no. So, you know, the more of those messages you get out, I think the better.
Agree.
But here's Mark Warner. He is a senator, and he is explaining basically to the American people what to expect from Liberation Day.
Let's realize this. I mean, if we look as well, look at what Trump and officials themselves claim these tariffs are going to raise. They say $100 billion a year on cars, $600 billion a year on these other reciprocal tariffs. That's $700 billion a year. Who's going to pay for that? American consumers. This will be the largest tax increase in American history.
You know what kills me too is I saw a poll the other day where it said, will tariffs raise prices and taxes on the American consumer? And they asked people, and I'm saying, why are we at a place now where we are polling people on facts? Polls are supposed to be about opinions. Like, right. If somebody answers the question no, like, right. What are we doing here? You're leaving them with the impression that they left the right answer.
Right. Good call. Right.
That's insanity to me.
Whose poll was that?
I think it was an NBC poll, if I'm not mistaken. But I saw it the other day, and I'm like, why are we asking people about facts?
Well, there was a poll to gauge how stupid people are.
Like, that had to be it.
That was the poll. Like, how many people don't know what this is doing?
It's got to be. And I would hope the pollster at the end of it saying, well, you understand that is not true. But that's not what they do. They don't do that. They just want to gauge what the American people think. And you can even see it on social media. You can see it when you're talking to people who love Donald Trump so much that they are defending the tariffs and think it is so incredible for the United States and it's going to make us richer. It's going to make us better. It's going to bring all these jobs back to the United States. By the way, these are coming from people who A, are already working, B, under an America when they had Joe Biden as president, more people working in this country than really in almost any time in American history, so I just, the logic and the ignoring of facts and the really not even caring about the fact that this is a tax on you, it raises your prices. It just doesn't matter to them. That is just so unbelievable to me. Can somebody please explain it?
I don't think it's all of them. Like, I think because we always have to separate the MAGA, right? Like they fall into a couple of categories. We have like the hardcore MAGA trolls that are on social media wanting to own the libs, and that is all it's about. They don't care. But I think you do have a bit of MAGA who are like, this isn't what we voted for. Like, we thought he was going to do, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it's hard. MAGA's got a whole bunch of things going on right now. Like those hard MAGA, that's the cult. But I do think that there are some MAGA who are fucking around and finding out, right? Like they are finding out.
Yeah. And we've seen some of those MAGAs. They're split too, because you ask them, did you make a mistake? Half of them say yes. And half of them say, I'd still vote for him again, which again blows my fucking mind.
Which is crazy because they will say that they made a mistake or they don't like where the country is headed, but will then turn around, like you said, and say, oh yeah, we'd vote for him again. It's like, thank God.
The people who are literally fired by the administration say they would vote for him again.
Yeah, some of them. Some of these motherfuckers are pissed.
Right. Some. That's what I'm saying. It is beyond. Why would you even go on camera, be interviewed, say, yeah, I lost my job because it's this administration. And then when they ask you, would you vote for him again? How could you look at yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, sure, I'd vote for him again? Like, what is wrong with you?
Brian, we heard a couple who lost their child to measles turn around and say, if she was alive again, they still wouldn't vaccinate her. So that's who we're dealing with. That's the level of thinking. That's where we're at right now. The level of thinking is just minimum, because I don't know if that is ego talking. Like, what would possess you to get on camera and say, yeah, our daughter died. No, we wouldn't vaccinate her again. Like, your daughter died because she wasn't vaccinated. Yes, measles took her out, but the vaccination could have saved her.
It's gonna sound bad, but those are the kind of parents that you're eventually gonna see on Dateline NBC, where she didn't get vaccinated, didn't die of measles, she was gonna die some way, some other way because of those damn parents, and they may not even wanted the kid around. So I mean, who knows? People are crazy, people are nuts. But the fact that if your child dies and you say, yeah, I still wouldn't have got the vaccination is crazy. Did you see, by the way, and I want to play this next clip since we're talking about that. Did you see there's this this thing that I see all the time where they go to a certain place, I think it's called Jubilee, and it's always somebody and they're surrounded in a circle with like 20 people and they debate each one of these kids about something, political. Yes. And there's one that just came out with a doctor debating all these people about the vaccine. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, Lana, it's mind-blowing. I'm going to send it to you. You got to see this doctor. He was about as patient as he could be. But it just gives us a state of where this country is. We're in a state of this country where people trust Joe Rogan's opinion about vaccines more than they do Dr. Fauci. And not only do they trust him more, they think Dr. Fauci is a criminal and should be in prison. This country is insane. This country is out of its mind fucking crazy. But speaking of out of their mind fucking crazy, here's the guy they voted for. Again, it doesn't really even need any setup, but this is just classic Donald Trump talking about the prices, all this stuff. But just listen to this fucking fool speak today about groceries.
It's an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it on the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot, and energy costs now are down. Groceries are down. Gasoline is way under $3, and people are beginning to be able to buy things and live again. We brought prices way down.
Okay, beyond the fact that grocery prices are not down, gas prices are not down, everything's not down.
Was this today?
Yeah.
That motherfucker just said groceries are down to $3. What does that mean?
Did he say? Because I'm so distracted by the stupidity of this guy, and I'm even more distracted that people listen to him and think he's a genius. Did he say gas prices are as low as they've ever, or something to that effect? Which they're not. Nationally, gas prices are up 20 cents from the time Joe Biden left office to the day that he's in office today.
Hit that again.
Let's do it again. All right, we rarely do this, but we are playing this again because it is so batshit crazy.
It's an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it on the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says
it's an old-fashioned term, Lana?
Is he reading that shit? Like, is that pre-prepared?
There's no way. It better not be, because I want to know who wrote it, because he didn't.
X wrote it.
Is he reading it off the teleprompter? There's no fucking way this guy could. No, this is Donald Trump going rogue, because every once in a while he'll go off the teleprompter. He's going rogue and saying that groceries is an old-fashioned term. Most people don't use it, but he brought it back when he was on the campaign trail. Let's continue to listen to this nonsense.
The bag with different things in it.
The groceries
went through the roof. And I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot. And energy costs now are down.
Real quick, he campaigned on the word groceries about how he was going to bring them down. That's what he campaigned on. And he fucking lied to you people, knowing that he has nothing to do with bringing grocery prices down. But you guys believed it. And really, you believed it because he said it, and he's got a multi-billion-dollar propaganda machine behind him that have no problem lying to you about him being in office and bringing down your grocery prices.
Down, groceries are down, gasoline is way under $3, and people are beginning to be able to buy things and live again. We brought prices way down.
Yeah, consumer confidence is the lowest it's been in years, and he's saying people are out there buying stuff again. And obviously, if you saw the latest, and I'm sorry, I'll let you talk here, Lon, in a second, but the GDP reports are showing that is down. So I don't know what he's talking about. Do you?
No, he said so I didn't even hear that the first time. So he said the price of gas is down to $3 and groceries
below $3. Well below $3.
And groceries are $3?
No, he said just gas prices. Gas prices were well below $3.
Oh, I thought when he continued on, he talked about groceries.
Do we need to play it a third time? This is unprecedented.
That was the end? No. That's fine.
Yeah. It had been a first on Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. So we played it for 3 different times.
No, we can't do that.
But yeah, he said gas prices are well below $3, which just nationally is not true. It's just absolutely not true. But somehow people eat this up, and he also knows he has a press in front of him that will not question him on that. They will not push back, and even if they attempt to, he's going to run over them, and he's not going to allow them any follow-up. So this is why we have a propaganda machine that is so outrageous and so crazy that this is what we're battling until we can find a way to overcome this. Then we could be in for a long run. But again, I think most people, we've talked about it, Lana, that when they start to open their eyes is when it starts directly affecting them. Right. So if it directly affects them, then there's a possibility they say, well, Jesus, this is maybe, the people that I went to and trolled them on their social media sites and on their YouTube shows. I trolled them and told them they were idiots. Maybe it turns out they weren't as idiotic as I originally thought.
Maybe.
So, well, speaking of people who are as idiotic as we thought they were, Elon Musk was on stage last week in Wisconsin, and he got an interesting question from one of his flying monkeys and sycophants about the supposed stimulus checks that will be coming her way. $5,000 to $8,000 is the number that we have heard. And finally, somebody who was so excited to meet Elon and thinks that he is doing just a phenomenal job for the United States and finding fraud, which, by the way, not one person has been charged. So I'm not sure what fraud it is that they have found so far. Waste. There's a possibility he has found some waste, which, again, Lana, myself, and no logical American has any issue with cutting waste in American government. But he has a hard time backing up exactly what it is that he's doing. But anyway, this woman asked him about these stimulus checks, and I hope there are MAGA people on here watching this who have not seen this response. And if you listen to this response and you don't have the same feeling that Lana and I do, that you are a buffoon for ever believing that this is possible and it could have possibly happened, then you really continue to need the help that we believe that you need. But let's listen to Elon's stuttering, stammering response.
I just want to say that Dozier's findings demonstrate to the American people that the government clearly does not care about our hard-earned tax dollars. I'm only 26, but I can imagine it's frustrating for people who have worked their entire lives to see their tax dollars going to fraud, waste, and abuse. And you alone have contributed so much money to our...
She has bought in, Lana, to everything that he has done, unless she's trolling him. I don't know.
Or she's a plant.
That's what I'm saying. Is it possible she's trolling him?
I don't know.
A plant. No, because I don't think a plant would have asked him this question. I think you can see when we'll see his reaction that he seems very thrown off by this question. So I don't know if she's trolling him or she is just this excited about Elon Musk and the waste and fraud that he's found. But let's let her get to this question of, hey, when should we expect these checks?
Our government via taxes, so thank you.
You're welcome.
But I'm sorry that your money's not being spent very well. You've clearly shown your leadership and team is capable of transforming our government into something better than what we see today. I just want to say I'm sure I'm not the only one who's wondering, but we know that Doge has found quite a bit of money, and we would like to see some of that returned to the American people. Do you have any information on when Doge checks would be written?
Real quick, listen to the crowd reaction. They all start cheering. They're like, yes, this is what you promised us. This is so great.
Sent out.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
Well, I guess we need to be successful at scale. We've made a lot of progress, but there's still a tremendous amount of work to do. Effectively, as government spending is made more efficient and spending is reduced, the tax by inflation is reduced. So one way or another, you will effectively be better off if resources in the United States are not wasted.
He's already said, fuck your 5,000, 8,000. It's not happening.
Bitch, never.
Yep.
But you know, the way she answered that question, it did sound like she was kind of trolling on purpose to get him to that place where he couldn't answer it. He did
Very
sound
possible, because there's one or two ways to look at this young lady. It's either like, ma'am, you are an idiot and I feel very sorry for you, or you are a hero. Thank you for asking him, because now he's forced to answer in front of an auditorium of flying monkeys who are in love with him and think he is a genius. And now he has to answer the question, how are you going to get us this $5,000 to $8,000? And so far, his first response is, when inflation comes down, it's going to save you some money. And that right there is the return that you're looking for.
exactly. No check, bitch.
Yep.
It's somewhat up to the Congress and maybe the president to as to whether specific checks are cut, but whether a check is cut or not, if you reduce wasteful spending, the economy is going to be better off. People will do more useful jobs than before. The total output of goods and services will increase, and then the average standard of living will increase. So that.
Lana, what did that genius just say?
So, and again, I don't know if Elon has a speech impediment. I don't know what his syndromes or conditions are. I do know that every time he speaks, he sounds like an idiot.
Yep.
Nothing ever makes sense, despite his stuttering, which they tease Biden about.
Yep.
He never makes nothing ever. It's not cohesive. It's almost as bad as Trump. Like, what the fuck is he saying? He just adds certain words that make it seem like he knows what he's talking about.
Yep.
But they don't make sense.
That's exactly what he does. That's what Trump does. He throws in these words to make the sentence have a little bit more flair to it, to make it sound like they're geniuses or they're more intelligent than the regular person, but they're just filler words. None of them are even big words. They're just dumb, stupid words that try to make themselves sound like they're smarter than they really are. And you brought up the point, he does have a condition, apparently, that he has Asperger's, and maybe that's part of the condition. However, every time you see him tweet something, it is nonsensical and stupid. So he may have some ability to be able to figure out how to make rockets go up in the air, or how to take over companies and get rid of the people who originally started them.
Right. That's what he is doing. I don't think that this man is making no rocket go in the air. I think he is paying people to think for him to do that. Just like he friggin' paid people to play video games. He couldn't even play a video game.
Right.
So weird to think that he's designing these. No, he's not. No, he's not ever going to make me believe that, because this man has too much fucking time and he's on Twitter nonstop all day, all night too. And he's a genius that can design rockets. When the fuck would he have time? Like, when would he have time to do this stuff?
Right.
He's not doing it. He has the money to have other people do it. Come on.
I wish I had a clip. There is a clip one time. He was outside, I think of one of like SpaceX or something like that. And there was a guy interviewing him who clearly knew his shit about this sort of stuff, the rockets and all this stuff, and asked him a particular thing about what he said. And I'm going to I'll pull the clip some other time, but he said something. And then the interviewer questioned him and he kind of froze for a second, kind of like, yeah, now that you say that, and now that I think about it, it's like, I'm sure he's got some ability somewhere in his brain that allows him and makes him the richest person in the world. A lot of it is grifter. He is a grifter. There's no question about it. He roams into these businesses. He takes them over and then winds up getting the credit for it. He has, just in case you're watching this and you're a MAGA or you're an Elon Musk fan and you think that he invented Tesla, he absolutely had nothing to do with inventing Tesla or PayPal, which he originally made most of his money off of until he took over Tesla. And SpaceX, he founded SpaceX, but he didn't invent space travel and rockets.
Exactly. It's like MAGA is so stupid. It's like just because, say, you go to journalism school, doesn't mean you know how to write a book.
Yep.
Doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. Like just because this man went to, I don't even know, architecture school or whatever the fucking kind of school he went to, his parents had money. They could have bought him into any school. You see what he does? He tries to buy elections because he is that is who he is from. He is birthed from that. His parents bought him whatever he needed. College, just like Trump. These people didn't earn anything. We keep talking about merit-based. Do we think Trump earned his spot in college? He's a fucking idiot. That's why we don't see his college transcripts. He likes to brag about everything. We don't see them. There's a reason why. His fucking teacher said he was the dumbest student ever. So like, merit-based? How? When? Where? These motherfuckers, please stop.
What kills me about when people talk about people like Elon Musk, I don't know, at least, and I'm not even really giving him credit here, but the difference between Elon Musk and Donald Trump is Elon Musk did what he did, regardless of how he did it, made himself the richest man in the world, never filed for bankruptcy once, and he found a way to make billions of dollars and become the richest man in the world all on his own, regardless of how he did it, which, if you probably broke down exactly how he did it, most people would go, that's pretty shitty the way you did it. But Donald Trump, what kills me about the flying monkeys and everybody else that surround him, that he's a self-made billionaire and that he made all of this happen. Again, if you think a guy that filed for bankruptcy 6 times, and then you hear the people who defend that and say that's what real billionaires do, you'd be hard pressed to find even regular millionaires that have filed bankruptcy once or twice, forget about 6 times. And the reason why you have to continue to file for bankruptcy over and over and over again is to bail yourself out from each disaster that you left yourself time and time and time again. Donald Trump's not a great businessman, but you would also have to question that if he was the billionaire that he says he is, and he's the genius that he says he is, Lana just alluded to the fact that he refuses to show his grades. Why would you not show your tax returns?
Right. Why would you not?
He's avoiding every year of his tax returns. For 10 straight years, he was in the hole so badly and he fucked up so badly. For 10 straight years, he paid $0 in taxes. He even got refunds back from the government because he was so terrible at business. And it just drives me nuts that people not only believe it, but are insistent that Donald Trump is a brilliant genius when it comes to business. And I said this on one show, Lana, that you were not on, that he's going to bankrupt this country the same way he bankrupted all of his businesses. The only difference is that we don't have a daddy here that's going to bail us out like he did. and we're going to be stuck for, and it could be very ugly. Hopefully somehow we get out of it, but we will see. Yeah, I know. Angel, how are you? I don't know why it always takes me so long to say hello to Angel. I feel bad, but Angel's the best, and I love Angel. And thank you for joining us as always, Angel. And anybody else out there, I see we have at least, it looks like 38 people on Twitter, maybe, and we have a few people on Instagram and other outlets and on YouTube. So thank you for joining. And if you are joining, please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Come on, let's stop the bullshit and do this already. I don't know what you're waiting for if you haven't done that already. So, Lana, you agree with that, right? That's something we should be doing?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, Lana, last few things. We had the Speaker of the House. What's that?
Angel has been writing questions and stuff.
Let's see. Where does that money we pay in tariffs go? I mean, again, the taxes the taxes are collected by the government. So they're going to be collecting, and the government will be collecting from the tariffs. But obviously, as anybody that has figured out, because nobody forever was talking about tariffs, because tariffs was not something that we injected into our economy on a larger scale. Tariffs have always been around, and we have used tariffs strategically throughout this country and throughout our history for a very long time. But we do it strategically. The Smoot-Hawley Act, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about the Smoot-Hawley Act, and really a lot of it came because there was a clip in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off back in 1984 where the teacher was talking about the Smoot-Hawley Act, which injected tariffs across the board, and they put in a lot of tariffs in this country right before the Great Depression, and it basically said it was a disaster for this country. And he's asking the class, do you remember the teacher? I don't know if you ever saw Ferris Bueller's, but it's like the guy who said Bueller, and he's asking the question, anyone, and he'd ask about the Smoot-Hawley Act, said, did it really work? He goes, no, it did not work. And the reason why I say that is because there's clips going around all over social media showing that clip from that movie from a long time ago. But basically what it is that blanket tariffs all across the board did not work the first time. Why anybody thinks it's going to work the second time is insane, only because they believe some lifelong grifter and con man is going to make our country great again, which is absolutely insane. But anyway, I don't even remember where I was going with that. But because she was asking me where the tariffs go, where the money in the tariffs go. And obviously what it is that the company that imports the good pays the tariff. And when that company imports the good, pays that tariff, they're like, well, this cost me more. So guess what's going to happen? It's going to cost the consumer more because I have to raise my prices to make up for the amount of money that I am paying for this now product that I was being able to buy for less money. And that's how tariffs work. So when you are polled the next time, if any of you watching this are somehow polled by anybody and say, do tariffs help the American consumer? Your only answer should be no. It should say 100% of the people asked should say no to that.
Correct.
Fucking facts. What the fuck are we doing, Lana? Mike Johnson was not happy the other day because there was a vote that they were trying to do to eliminate what is called proxy voting. And what proxy voting is that if somebody is unable to make it in for a specific vote, they can send somebody in to vote for them. You see this a lot with women who are pregnant and having children and in maternity or having their baby, and it's happening on days where they're voting and they obviously can't get in there. They'd send a proxy to be able to vote on their behalf. Well, they want to end this. This is the whole MO of the GOP and the MAGA sphere, is to eliminate any kind of voting that they can that does not benefit them. Are you familiar with this, Lana? Have you heard about this recently?
I heard about a lawmaker who recently had a baby, I think, talking about this.
Yes. Well, there was also somebody, this Anna Paulina Luna, who is a far right MAGA. And she was one that came out strongly against it. She was like, this is not right. We definitely do not to be eliminating these proxy votings. But Mike Johnson took to
like, it's just so stupid. It's not even like just like, it's just dumb. What the fuck's wrong?
Well, this is again, Lana, they're doing everything they can to eliminate any kind of votes that do not jive with them. That's just the problem. It's insanity that you have you're trying to eliminate all kinds of different things in different counties, where you can't feed or give anybody anything to drink in line. And they're doing it in these counties where they know there's a heavier black population and trying to suppress that vote. They're trying to do everything they can to suppress voting.
$1 million. You can't give out water bottles, but you can give out checks for $1 million.
Which is unbelievable. But, well, you know what? You can give out $1 million all you want, but guess what? You fucking lost this time, and hopefully that's a pattern. But here's Mike Johnson with a little hissy fit on the floor about this is a black eye for Mike Johnson and the Republican Party. And again, these are the things that we need to continue to see happening, that the movement that they continue to try with these kind of laws and paying people millions of dollars to go and vote are being rejected.
Well, it's a very disappointing result on the floor there. A handful of Republicans joined with all the Democrats to take down a rule. That's rarely done. It's very unfortunate in this case. 96% of House Republicans voted against proxy voting because they believe it's unconstitutional and they agree that it would open a Pandora's box. And so that's what we just saw.
Real quick, Lana, I don't want to hear these motherfuckers one time talking about against the Constitution. In 3 months, they've been nothing but against the Constitution.
Exactly.
Let me just make this clear. That rule being brought down means that we can't have any further action on the floor this week. That means we will not be voting on the SAVE Act.
Good.
Election integrity. We will not be voting on the rogue judges who are attacking President Trump's agenda. We will not be taking down these terrible Biden policies with the CRA votes. All that was just wiped off the table. It's very unfortunate. We'll regroup and come back, and we'll have to do this again.
Mr. Speaker, were you asking for too much?
Yeah, could you imagine that they are trying to vote on judges that are voting against Donald Trump? And again, it's all under the guise that it's these rogue, far left-wing judges. These judges, they've been doing this their whole lives. And yeah, they have political parties, but they are voting they are making judgments based on the law, not based on because they don't like Donald Trump. This is insanity.
Exactly.
Exactly, Lana. Exactly. You said it. All right. Last few things, Lana. Boy, I'll tell you, Cory Booker has catapulted himself into the spotlight, and really, he already had a name, but he really made a name for himself yesterday when he broke the record for what's the word? The term. Not Jeremy. God damn it! I just had it in my head.
Talking on the Senate floor.
Yes, the filibuster. For 25 hours, he beat Strom Thurmond's record, who is not kind to history, Strom Thurmond, but he did break Strom Thurmond's record for speaking for 25 straight hours on the House floor. And I don't really even think people just maybe either understand it, and I hope they give him the credit for doing what he did yesterday was incredible, and it was amazing. And not just the length of time that he did it, but the words that came out of his mouth. You could see anytime that you tuned in, this is not 25 hours worth of stuff that he had written down on a teleprompter. He just winged it for 25 straight hours. I know Lana and I can wing it for a good hour or two, but I don't know if you and I could go for 25 straight hours.
Right. And I was thinking about that. I was like, he could go for 25 straight hours because Trump is just that horrific.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally spend an hour to 2 hours on immigration, on women's rights, on taking freedoms away, on the Constitution. You like Project 2025, like that's all the fuck he had to do. Like, it's there. Like, Trump is just that bad. Not saying it was easy, but I'm just saying, like, that is a lot of there's a lot of material.
We made the point on the show here. That's why it's probably easy for anybody to do their own YouTube show, because Donald Trump is the greatest writer in the history of political talk, because it is so much material that sometimes there's some material that you're almost like, well, we only have a certain amount of time that we're going to do. We only have a certain amount of clips we're going to play. There's probably 15 more clips we could have played tonight that are so fucking batshit crazy that just happens over the last 48 hours. It's insanity. But you're right. He has so much material, but here's some of the material. We're obviously not going to play 25 hours of it, but we got about a good minute and a half of it. So let's listen to Mr. Booker, what he had to say about Donald Trump and during his historic filibuster.
It's our generation. We have to redeem the dream. We have to excite people again. He, in the highest office of our land, wants to divide us against ourselves, wants to make us afraid, wants to make us fear so much that we're willing to violate people's fundamental rights. We're willing to go after the speech on college campuses. We're willing to go after law firms, go after the freedom of the press. Don't let him do that. Don't become like him. Be an American that says, I look to the future and I'm excited. Yes, things are tough right now. They're hard, they're scary, they're hurting, but we can overcome this. Our American history, if it's nothing else, American history, if it's nothing else, it is a perpetual testimony to the achievement of impossible things against impossible odds. We are a nation that is great not because of the people that are trying to whitewash our history. To remove great people, Native Americans, black people, and women from our military websites. I don't want a Disneyfication of our history. I don't want to whitewash history. I don't want to homogenize history. Tell me the wretched truth about America, because that speaks to our greatness.
Exactly.
And so what do I want to people to do? It starts with us, man, and you're doing it. I've seen courage of my colleagues. We're doing it, but we have to do more, and I'm sorry. I'm not going to be a politician that's going to say, we are going to do more for you. I'm going to be a politician. I'm going to be a leader that demands more from America.
Will the senator yield for one last question?
I yield for a question while retaining the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, powerful stuff, and good on Senator Booker. He did an amazing job. And again, all that's just right off the top of his head, but that's not really from the top of his head. That is directly from the heart. And, you know, he probably could have gone on more if he wanted to. But man, that was pretty powerful stuff. And I love the attention that it got, because it got a lot of attention too.
Kudos to Senator Booker. Kudos to his fellow senators who gave him assists by hanging with him, you know, the whole time. They're probably taking shifts so that they can ask him these long ass questions that were like comic questions to give his throat a break. So kudos to them, and kudos to that, you know, juxtaposition of Crawford winning and us getting, you know, coming, you know, close, and well, not close in Florida, but breaking the lead that they had in Florida. And like in Cory Booker, just all of that happened in one day. And that's why we always tell you Democrats, like, stop fucking whining. And I'm not talking about lawmakers. I'm talking about voters. I'm talking about resistors. It's like the minute something goes wrong, we fall apart. And I think, and not to bring color into this, but I'm going to bring color into this. I think people of color look at things differently. that's why you have the Jasmine Crockett's, the Cory Bookers. You notice the leaders that are really rising up, right? You just have to come with us, right? Like just come with us. And I think we already know hardship, right? We're from hardship. We're from the worst of the worst. We know oppression. Like we know what disappointment feels like. We get all of that. Sons, police brutality, dying. Like we feel and see and move differently. So when we get knocked down, we know how to like just bounce back up. Like we know that the sun is going to come out the next day because our ancestors were enslaved and that's what they had to look forward to. Imagine fucking enslaved people raped every day, beat in the fields, but these people still have the strength to make instruments, sing spirituals. Like they carried on. So that's what we're trying to tell just Democrats as a party. And if you listen to his whole speech, he had some of that in it. Like stop falling apart when it doesn't go your way because there's always another fucking day. And Democrats they're getting it together. They're getting it together. One by one, they're figuring out who's going to go on to Fox News, who's going to be out there speaking the loudest, who's going to take what roles. Like it's happening. Like just be easy and just follow the leaders. Just let them lead and you fall into what your place is and just be a support and stop fucking criticizing people when shit doesn't go wrong. Because hey, if we would have lost Wisconsin, we would have had a bunch of whiny Democrats on Twitter and on social media crying about that. Cry for a minute, pick your fucking self up and let's win the next one. Like I don't know what to tell you because that's just the sun's coming out tomorrow, whether fucking Donald Trump raises out of bed or not. Like the sun is going to be here. That's my closing.
Well, very well said. And I've got a confession to make. And the confession is there are times even when I say to you, holy shit, what about this shit? And I would not blame anybody of color who has been through this their entire lives to even look at me and go, well, listen, this motherfucker, now all of a sudden he's worried about what's happening in this country. Although obviously I would say at least somebody like me understands and does my best to understand. I mean, I can never directly understand, but do my best to understand. And I will do my best to be a voice and, one of the people who defend. But you're right. I mean, there are a lot of white people who haven't really had to go through this before. And this is really our form of oppression. And it can be because free speech to white people can be dismantled very quickly if you speak against the wrong people. And, this is what white people are discovering. Now, will white people ever have to go through the plight of anybody of color? No. I mean, if it does, I mean, Jesus. And, who the fuck ever knows that what would ever happen to this world? But no, the answer is no. They never would have to go through that same plight, but there is a part of them now that are feeling something that they have never felt before. And you're right. Some of them don't know how to handle it. Some of them are like in a ball curling up and saying, what are we going to do? The other ones are going, the Democrats are wrong. And if we say the Democrats are wrong, that maybe they'll be nicer to us if they hear me say anything against the king. So, that's why it pisses me off when I hear that Bill Maher just sat down with Donald Trump the other day. You can go fuck yourself, Bill Maher, because Kid Rock invited you over.
We already know about Bill Maher.
Bill Maher's already setting up with, I know people aren't going to like me, but, it's still the presidency of the United States. Don't give me this thing of where we're respecting the office because we have somebody in there who has zero respect for that office. So you're going to go in there and respect the guy who doesn't respect the office. Get the fuck out of here. I don't think your words and the way you're going to twist it is going to fool people with a brain.
Jasmine Crockett. Like, we already knew Bill Maher years ago. When Bill Maher used to hang out with Ann Coulter, that was it for me. That was years ago. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, oh, he's playing right now with us. Like, he's trying to play like he's on our side because he had a black girlfriend.
Right. Yeah, that's the old-fashioned I've got a black girlfriend thing so I can say things. That's why he felt comfortable one day, even on his show, saying the house N-word on his show, and got in a little bit of heat for that. But I can already see Bill Maher this Friday night on his show going, okay, look, I know you guys are not going to like hearing this. I guarantee it. That's how he's going to start off and then go on this whole diatribe of how Trump isn't really all that bad and we need to stop making him the monster that we're making him out to be. Guarantee it. Guarantee he's going to say something to that effect, or he will not say anything negative. He will never go out and go, I went there, I talked to him, I still don't like the guy. He'll try to dance around it a little bit, but that's what he'll do. Anyway, last one, Lana. This came out right before we came onto the show. I always save the best for last. My girl, Jasmine Crockett, who you know I'm in love with, she was speaking today about Pam Bondi's threat to her. And man, let me tell you something. So she got into some heat last week by calling Governor Abbott Hot Wheels.
He is Hot Wheels. Fuck him.
And I had somebody tell me that, and I said, listen, at this point, I don't really give a flying fuck, because here's my take on this for two things. One is those assholes over there can say whatever they want to say and get away with it. And that doesn't make like the two wrongs make a right thing. I get it. If that's your argument, I get it. But we're way past the two wrongs don't make a right anymore. We're way past the if they go low, we go high. Those days are all over. And the second take is that I don't get the feeling that Jasmine Crockett has ill feelings towards handicapped people. Correct. I think she just wanted to directly hit him right in the face in something that she knew would get under his skin. And that's exactly what that was all about.
Handicapped people call him Hot Wheels.
Right. Right. Yep. And there were people who were handicapped. And again, some people, if you make the argument to me, so you're saying just because you found a handicapped person that said it's okay means it's okay? No, it's not. You can all make the decision as to whether or not you think it's okay or not okay. I think in general society, we all know it's not okay to make fun of handicapped people. But what she was doing was she was making fun of an evil monster. She would not make fun of his handicap if he was a good, giving human being. That's not what this was about. This was about, what can I say about this clown? Because he's doing whatever he wants to do. He's saying some of the most awful things that you could say about immigrants, that you could say about anybody else. What's one way I can attack this guy that will get under her skin? She found the way, and it did. And it also got under the skin of these MAGA idiots who are so sanctimonious now on, I can't believe she said that. They can go fuck themselves. And I have no problem with what she said. None.
No, fuck that dude. Like, fuck that. It's almost a compliment. That wasn't even a good enough insult, because Hot Wheels is kind of cool. So he's not cool. He's a fucking asshole. But did anyone complain when he fucking didn't go to the funerals of the Uvalde victims?
Right.
Huh? Is that okay? How about when he declined to feed children over the summer some free meals? That's okay. How about the pregnant women or the women dying from miscarriages in his state, and he does nothing? Like, fuck Greg.
The barbed wire fences for the
exactly. He is a monster, and we don't fucking defend monsters, whether they fucking have a stutter, handicap, no legs, 2 legs, 5 legs. We don't fuck cancer. We don't care. Evil is evil.
Yep, absolutely. And you know what? Again, you're right. I have no problem with what she said. And I really have no problem with what she said here, because she doesn't even I love the fact that she calls out names directly. She is not going to dance around it. She's not afraid to call out your name. She's also not afraid to call out people and news organizations or whoever it is for what they are. And they are liars. They are scam artists. And she says it directly. She calls them by name. This is the kind of fucking shit that I love to see. And I want to continue to see it throughout the rest of this nightmare that we are living.
Yeah. To have the sitting attorney general go on, and I'm going to call it faux news. I know some of y'all love it, but it's fake to me. To have her go on Fox News and to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong. Because here it is, she is the highest law enforcement agent in this country, and people are watching and they are consuming this information, and they are believing that simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing, that she then wanted to then politicize something that should not be politicized. I don't like Elon Musk. I'm gonna say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook, because somehow the rest of us can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around and get law enforcement and get them somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law. For whatever reason, just because he has a lot of money, more money than everybody else. And yes, I am happy to see that on my birthday, which is what I said, there were peaceful protests around this world against him, because he is a problem. And so you never should have somebody that is sitting that high and is going to sit up here and threaten a sitting member of Congress, when she knew good and well, if she watched the entire thing, that I specifically told protesters to make sure you consult with lawyers, just like I've told protesters over and over and over in the history of me advising people to go out and exercise their constitutional right. The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law.
God damn it. I fucking love that woman. I mean, that is just dead on. And the fact that she says, yeah, you know what? I don't like Elon Musk. I'm not going to fucking dance around this. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I don't like him, because he's a monster too. And I'm defending the people outside of here that want to protest him, who eventually are going to find themselves in hot water because somebody made the wrong judgment about one of these protests, and now they're arresting a mother or a father or somebody that was really innocent and was protesting peacefully.
Yeah.
Against Elon Musk and his dealerships.
It's unfortunate more people can't see that. It's unfortunate it doesn't get on local news, right? Like, it's just unfortunate. I mean, good thing for TikTok, because I'm sure it's on TikTok, but that that's something that needs to be highlighted.
No question. And needs to be done continuously. I love the attitude of Jasmine Crockett. I love her no nonsense, calling out names directly and speaking exactly what she doesn't like about them. And it's not because she is petty that she doesn't like somebody. She is calling these people out because they are hurting the American people, and she's trying to get that message across. And I know because she is a Black woman, there are going to be a lot of people out there who won't listen to one word she has to say because they don't like the way she speaks up higher. They may not like the way she talks, the way she says it, and that is going to bother a lot of people. But you know what else it's going to do? It's going to garner attention, because usually when anybody talks with that kind of passion, regardless of how you talk about it, people will sit through the whole thing and they'll listen to it, whether they want to or not. They'll listen to the whole thing, and maybe every once in a while somebody hears it and goes, kind of like that.
Imagine not being able to listen to her, but can listen to Donald Trump.
I can imagine that.
that she talked ghetto, and it's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, what is that? Because what is Marjorie Taylor Greene? How the fuck does she talk?
Right. Lauren Boebert. Did you see her the other day?
Exactly. Is ghetto equals black talk? Like, what does that mean?
It is. Well, then, if ghetto equals black talk, what is the term we're using for Donald Trump's speak?
Exactly.
Because I never know what the fuck he's talking about. I swear to God, I have asked anybody to pull one clip of Donald Trump saying something brilliant where we go, wow, actually, I didn't know he had that in him. Never. Not one. There's not one clip anybody can pull for me and show me that Donald Trump had said something that is fucking brilliant. Not once. Not one time. All right. Lana, we have Celtics second half to get to. So we're going to wrap up the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We did get some more viewers. Thank you for watching, and thank you for liking if you have already. Please subscribe to the show if you don't mind. You can join us again on Tuesday night. By the way, it's a special Wednesday night show. We're usually not on Wednesday night, but I had some things I had to do last night, so we did make it tonight. We will be back on Tuesday night live at 7 o'clock. Lana is on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock when she can. Her show is called The Quest Show. You can find it in the comments below or in the description below. You can find her show. You direct link to it. I'd go directly there. I'd subscribe. I would like all the videos. Join her on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock when she can make it. And this is the part of the show where I ask her if she's going to be on tomorrow night.
No.
No. Okay. That's okay. So, but there's plenty of material that you could go back and watch. Lana is great. You'll love her show as well. I made a guest appearance on her show a couple weeks ago, so go back and watch that if you haven't watched it already. And we appreciate everybody watching. Lana, any final words?
Yes, Angel is a Boston fan, so yes.
Yes, Angel. Thank you for backing us up in the set. Do you have HBO, by the way?
Me?
Yeah.
Angel. Yeah, I do.
You have HBO? Yeah. Have you been watching there's an 8-part series about the history of the Boston Celtics on there?
No.
Yes, you need to watch it.
I've watched Robert Parrish and like.
No, this is starting Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, then it goes to the Dave Cowens and the John Havlicek years, and now I'm on the Bird and Parrish years. Then it's going to go to the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and then we're going to lead up to the Jaylen Brown and of course Jason Tatum years. It's awesome. I love it.
Johnson, remember Dennis Johnson?
DJ, that's in the that's ML Carr actually. ML Carr, you remember he used to do the towel.
What did Dennis Johnson do? I thought
Dennis Johnson was a great player. They traded for him. He came on. He was the yeah.
Wasn't he a coach for a minute? No, did he coach?
Did he coach after? I don't know, but I know he passed away early too. But Angel, she's a Larry Bird fan. Of course, Larry Bird's great.
Who's not Larry Bird?
Yeah. Love Larry. But anyway, you should check it out, Lana, if you haven't seen it. So, but anyway, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Bye, Lana.
Angel. Bye, Brian.
Good night, Angel.